Welcome back. You're still tuned into News and Views with myself, Salailo Makudi. Our time is 20 minutes past 9 Central African time. And we're going to be switching gears now to money matters, especially now as a lot of South Africans are facing growing financial pressures. And many are looking for ways to grow their money. I'm sure you're thinking about it too. What are some of the best ways to secure your future, your children's future? But with the rise of investment opportunities, there's also been a surge in scams, fraudulent schemes that promises unrealistic returns and that have left many people financially devastated. So this morning we ask the question: how can you, the consumer, tell the difference between a legitimate investment and a costly trip that could leave you broke? What questions should you be asking before parting with your hard-earned cash? And what principles should guide smart and ethical investing? And joining us in studio is Abdul-Qayyum Solomon, better known as the TheHalalBroker, aka from our good friends at Dynasty Islamic, and is going to help us navigate the world of investing and how you can avoid some of the pitfalls that catch so many people. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, and yourself, my brother.
I'm well.
It's good to see you.
Glad to be chatting to
Likewise.
you again. And I think it's on a very, very important issue. We've decided to have this conversation because a lot of people have come out to say, you know what, this institution or that institution, I tried to do this with my money, there were no returns. And I think it would be very, very important to make people aware.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys at Dynasty are the perfect people because you do things the ethical way, the right way.
Absolutely.
And I want to jump right into it. Some of the most common scams that you guys have realized are on the rise that South Africans need to look out for, and they should, be aware of before parting with their money.
Yeah. So we basically in the field, we're always speaking with clients, and majority of the time people are bringing up that they are getting scammed or people are trying to impersonate us or any type of brokerage or people. We have picked up that there is a lot of Forex and crypto scams out there nowadays. That's one of it. You get these Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes where you have to recruit people and you're earning passive income. That's what they're telling you. And then you're getting these investment firms that are not actually regulated and people are investing big money with them. And I've sat with so many clients and I sat opposite them and they said, I've invested 2-3 million with this company. And then the company is getting liquidated or they're under investigation or they're going bankrupt. Like I said, if people don't do their due diligence before the time, they run themselves into these problems. And that's why we are there to make people more informed, to give them, more insight to make a better decision. So there's many scams out there. I sat with my own experience where people impersonated me. They created a TikTok account with my profile picture, stole all my videos, and they grown the account. The account is going to be almost on 5,000 followers. I've been reporting it. People are engaging on the post. So that means people are showing interest. But that also says that people are desperate in this day and age, especially with how the economy is going nowadays. So impersonating is a big thing when it comes to either a person or a company. And like I said, people are vulnerable, so it's easy for them to fall into those, into that situations. Yeah.
Very scary stuff.
Definitely.
I want to touch on some of the telltale signs, red flags that maybe an ordinary South African can look out for, because we're just ordinary folks. You hear that you could be getting this much return if you put in this amount of money and you get excited. You mentioned that the economy is really bad and people are looking for ways to grow their money, secure their futures. Are there any red flags that you think people need to look out for when they're getting approached by investment companies or when they seek an investment company that should tell them, no, this is impossible. You can't get these amounts of returns. It doesn't matter how much you put in.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. So for what we picked up is that you obviously need to see if there's a physical address for any company or any person. A lot of the time, the red flags would be people actually not having no profile pictures. They have that type of profile. You could see it's a scam.
The flashy ones on Instagram
as well.
I think are the most common ones. People will be posting fancy cars and houses and said, I did this in 15 days or whatever.
And it can go both ways. Like you said, it can be the profile that has nothing and it can be the profile that has everything. But the thing is, what I picked up is, because I also almost tried, or people tried to scam me. And what I would do is try video calling them. See if they would pick up. 100% of the time, they're going to reject that call every single time and find some form of excuse. The thing is, whoever you deal with, whether it's a person, whether it's a company, that's why we have the FSCA. Because there's a registry. You can go check on if this company is authorized to actually give investment advice. So I would always tell people, go check on these sites, verify the person or the company before you give any interactions with them. Because at the end of the day, people are being scammed through WhatsApp nowadays, through Instagram, sending OTPs and they hack your thing and then they impersonate you and they go scam your loved ones as well. So like I said, always keep the eye out for these things. It's always the small things that we overlook, but then it comes back to us eventually. We do face the consequences of those actions.
Yeah, very important to note. And we often hear of a phrase that's very, very common: if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. How relevant is that advice in today's investment environment? Are there any numbers that these bogus investment companies like to throw at you, to almost hook you into giving your money?
Absolutely. There's places that will promise you 30-40% per week, sometimes 20% a day, sometimes 50% a month. And that is not realistic, especially in our industry where I've been almost a decade in the industry. I work with all these major FSPs and investment firms. I can tell you that is somewhat impossible. And people will believe it because they're desperate, or like I said, they're vulnerable. And then they make an emotional decision thinking that, okay, this is instant gratification. I'm going to get rich quick. And that's the mindset a lot of people have. And that's the quickest way to lead you into falling into a scam.
How do you check if it's really legitimate? You mentioned the FACA. Is this a website that one can go to, type in the companies?
The FSCA, the Financial Service Conduct Authority. So that's basically the banner for all financial services. If you go onto their website, same with myself. If someone doesn't trust or think that I'm not a registered or authorized broker, they can take my name and surname, punch it into the registry, and the FSCA will say this guy is authorized to give you investment advice. And that's the same with a company. It needs to have an FSP number. It needs to be regulated. There's certain things that needs to be in place before you even decide to make contact with these people. And if they have made contact with you, like I said, do your due diligence. It will take you 5-10 minutes to just go on the FSCA's website, and all that information is there. Free. It's out there for the public.
And I think one thing that they do really, really well is almost create a sense of urgency. Like they make it seem like this is a package that's only limited for a short amount of time. And is that a real thing in investment where you sell packages and
it's never something of urgency. Remember, we don't force any clients to get into any investments, and a good legitimate investment is going to be there tomorrow as well. So the thing is, they create that urgency because, like I said, they know you're desperate, they know you're vulnerable. There's almost a 99% chance you're going to make that irrational decision and you're going to jump into whatever they're trying to offer you. And remember, when we make decisions based on emotion, it clouds our judgment. And pair that with your desperation and your vulnerability. At the end of the day, they're going to catch you. They're going to catch you. But like I said, a good investment is going to be there tomorrow. A legitimate one will be there next week as well. But they create that sense of urgency because they try to tap into that vulnerability of you and tap into your emotions. And then you're going to give in immediately. So they will always create that sense of urgency so they can just scam you and move on to the next person. That's how it works.
Let's talk about the eventuality has happened. You realize that it looks like I've been scammed. My calls are no longer being answered. The social media page is down. What do? It has happened, unfortunately.
So you see a lot of people, they will pay these people through avenues that is not traceable. Cryptos, certain e-wallets, certain ways that they try to maneuver the system.
It doesn't
it's not
connect to a person.
It's not. They try to make it as less traceable as possible. So the thing is, the moment that happens or you have paid someone, I am sorry that you did, but I would say that block any payments, block any form of communication. Obviously, it's usually run to your bank. So contact your bank, let them know. Contact the FSCA, report these people. Contact SAPS, open up a case if you need to. So make sure you go to that three authorities just to make sure that you have, put things in place that it shouldn't happen to you again, or that it can be investigated so it doesn't happen to the next person. So that's what I would advise. Go to the FSCA, let your bank know, and let SAPS know. That would be your best options.
What do you think is of most importance that ordinary people need to know about investing and where to put money and ultimately how it comes back to you? Because we're very oblivious. People just think this money goes somewhere, someone just doubles it, we don't know out of what, and then it returns. But in the most simplest of ways, investment, how does it work?
So at the end of the day, you are taking disposable income or capital that you are able to risk, and you're investing it into a certain vehicle. And that vehicle is your plan, your investment plan, whether it's an endowment, a unit trust, tax-free savings account. And then obviously that vehicle needs to go somewhere. So then we look at the funds that it's being invested into. And that boils down to your asset allocation. So where am I investing into housing, into infrastructure, into hospitals? So you need to also look where you're placing your money, because ultimately that's what's going to bring you a return. Muslim viewers, we focus on Sharia compliant investing.
Yeah.
So we want to look at assets that are interest free. That is not gambling. There's no pork. There's no alcohol. So ultimately, if you're investing into funds that you know are Sharia compliant, you bring barakah into your wealth. You know, you see the value in it. Compared to normal conventional, you will see how that money flies. And Trump just opens up his mouth and your stock plummets. Your money's gone.
Yeah.
So you also need to know where you're tying your assets to, especially when you want to tie it to like America and all these countries that are causing a lot of
instability.
Yeah. So you try to keep it as consistent and stable as possible, and something that you can see is going to be sustainable into the future. So you look at things that are Sharia compliant is usually the ones that are away from a lot of these messes. So I would always advise people look into that. There's great returns. People think Sharia is low returns. It's not. Where conventional can be high returns, but it's not consistent. I can earn that this year and I can make another 4 losses in the next 4 years, where Sharia will give me consistent every single year. So in the long run, I ultimately win.
It compounds.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We have run out of time, but I want to chat Dynasty. Any exciting new products that you guys have on offer? People can contact you when they need what exactly?
So we basically do all your financial services. Every single financial service you can get, we offer the Sharia compliant one, whether it is your estate planning, setting up a trust, your estate administration, any liquidity for your debts. You need to make provisions for these type of things, whether it's your income protections. We do all of those things, your medical aids, investments. So rather than going to a big normal conventional institution that's going to give you a conventional product that's obviously not Sharia compliant, we change the narrative and we obviously push you in the direction to turn your whole financial portfolio into a Islamic Sharia compliant. It needs to be Sharia compliant at the end of the day, especially as Muslims. So we offer everything. And if we can't offer you something, we will definitely point you in the right direction to someone that could potentially help you. And obviously a reputable company or a reputable person. That's correct.
Very important. How do they get hold of you? Contact details, social media?
Yeah, so you will find me on TikTok at TheHalalBroker. That's how everyone knows me. My contact number is 061 494 0431. We are based out in Bryanston. So if anyone wants to come to the office, they can as well, 57 Sloane Street. And you can find our social media pages, Dynasty Islamic. You can find us on the FSCA's website as well. We're there. That's easy to find us. That's not the issue. As long as you just type there in Dynasty Islamic or the HalalBroker, you will find us. Definitely.
Hey, you mentioned that your account was cloned. What's the difference? What should people look out for within that account that was cloned in your original one that you run?
Yeah, so my one, like I said, they just cloned all my videos. They started taking all my videos as I posted it, took my same profile picture, and you know what they done? They took the exact bio that I have, but they put a Telegram group in there.
Oh.
So Telegram is now the new, I would say, social media people use that goes under the radar.
Yeah.
So a lot of scammers, if people are reaching out to you via Telegram, I would suggest either run the opposite direction.
Red flag.
Yeah, or do your due diligence before you do any form of business with them. So Telegram is where they're bringing all the people on and then they're scamming them basically on Telegram. So that's the same thing that's happening now. They're taking my profile, taking my videos, and because I have somewhat of a reputation online, they know that they can use my credibility to scam people. And then I had to go make people aware that there is someone out there impersonating me. Please report them. And the account was still not taken down. Still not up till today.
Very concerning.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I need to also cover my own back and let people know that there is people out there that's willing to impersonate you or the company. Ultimately, I am Dynasty Islamic as well. So whether they see the TheHalalBroker, whatever they do to the people that they scam, it ties back to us. It ties back to us. And that's a big issue. Okay, alhamdulillah, our personal company page hasn't got cloned and may it stay like that. But in terms of the personal page, that's another issue. Like I said, people, and I was lucky enough to actually have a follower reach out to me and tell me that there's someone, and he sent me the message, and it was also guaranteed returns, 40% a week.
Which is impossible.
Exactly. And here's a crypto wallet, deposit the money, send the proof of it. It was just, you could pick up, you could smell that desperation, and you could sense that this thing was a scam. So I always tell people, please stay woke and, do your due diligence. It won't take you long. And you will thank me later for it. You will thank me later, definitely.
Most definitely. Stay woke. I think that's the message that we're leaving everyone with.
Yeah, that is my punchline on TikTok. Stay blessed and stay woke. That's the thing, because people are so oblivious, like you say, and they overlook a lot of things that are quite important, especially when it comes to investment. Investing is it's not as easy as just putting money in. Finish. There's a lot of things that you need to consider. There's costs, there's fees, there's taxes. There's the legalities behind it as well. So I always tell people, just take 15, 20 minutes of your time, do your research, and then make a more informed decision. Simple as that.
Abdul-Qayyum Solomon, the halal broker from Dynasty Islamic, helping us understand how to identify investment scams. And I think a very, very important conversation, especially in this day and age. Jazakallah so much, my brother. And send my salam to everyone at Dynasty.
Wa alaikum salam. I definitely will.
There we go. That take a quick break. We'll be back with you after this.
Soweto, it's time to stand together for justice, peace, and solidarity. Join us for the annual Soweto Walk for Gaza, taking place on Saturday, the 20th of June at 7:30 a.m. The walk will begin at the historic Regina Mundi Church and proceed to the monumentous Dlamini Mosque, bringing together people of all faiths, backgrounds, and communities in a powerful show of unity and support. Bring your family, friends, and fellow residents as we walk together for a common cause. Let your voice be heard and your presence counted. That's the annual Soweto Walk for Gaza, Saturday, the 20th of June at 7:30 in the morning, starting at Regina Mundi Church and ending at Dlamini Mosque. Together we walk, together we stand, together we show solidarity.